again folks, and welcome back to another video, and this week we are talking about one of my favourite things to talk about, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and more specifically the video games. That is because we have been spoiled rotten with games such as Shredder's Revenge coming out, and that game has been out for a few weeks now, but we're only a few weeks away from the Cowabunga Collection. So that got me thinking, what other Turtles video games are there? I have a few in my collection, and I'm also going to add a few to my collection in this video. And I'm going to take you folks along for the ride. Let's get into it.
Pick up! Duty the Gangster! Rush Tricks! Not getting your hand! Oh yeah!
Let me just start this video by saying I am absolutely in love with Shredder's Revenge. It is one of, if not the best game of 2022 so far in my opinion. It's going to take a lot to beat it. There has been so many Turtles games over the years, going back to that original NES game all the way back in 1989, you know, the one with the water level we do not speak about. And there's just so many more to explore. Obviously with the Cowabunga Collection coming out in a few weeks, we're going to be able to play so many of those games again. But I do think that is going to drive the price of the games in that collection through the roof. And some of them are already incredibly expensive. So I'm going to look at some of the other Turtles games you can pick up a little bit cheaper. Both of them in my collection, and also we're going to head to CX and look for some games there. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button. Please subscribe as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus videos throughout the week like this one. And I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's go to our local CX and see if we can pick up a few more Tmnt games. I thought it might be quite a cool idea to check out the handheld section first. As you can see here, there's a couple of games for both the DS and the 3DS. So here, you know, a DS game for £2 is a pretty good deal. Here's something that does kind of annoy me about CX is reprinted covers. You think they could do these a little bit cheaper, but you know, it's no bad loss as I do already have that game in my collection. And here, a 3DS game for £3.50. As the 3DS is getting harder to collect for, I think now is the time to pick up these games. As you can see here, you can pick up cheap Tmnt games in your local CX. When it comes to cheap games, it's always worth checking the PlayStation 2 section. Yes, I may have just picked up this game on the Nintendo DS, but you know, sometimes it's cool to have multiple versions of a game and see what the differences is. I think between the DS and the PlayStation 2, there's probably going to be a few differences in this game, but we'll find out. Bringing it up to a more current console, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan for the Xbox One. This is a game I've actually been meaning to pick up for quite a long while, and this seems to be a good excuse to do it. One thing to consider, this game is quite a bit more expensive on the PlayStation 4. I think these have both been like delisted, so pick them up now. Now here's a little bit of bonus footage and something I was really not expecting, to pick up the original TMNT game from a charity shop in 2022. A surprise nonetheless, but a good one. Here we have some new TMNT games I picked up from CX, and also I've pulled out some games from my collection I want to tell you folks about. So I'm going to tell you which games I think you should be picking up and which ones you should be leaving behind. Let's jump into the games. Here we have our first game that we picked up from CX, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the 3DS. And for £3.50, I think that's a pretty good price for a 3DS game. As I've said many times before, I think the 3DS is only going to get more and more expensive to collect for, so now is a good time to pick it up. And this is a fairly decent TMNT game. It's based on one of the more recent Nickelodeon TMNT cartoons, which I haven't watched to be fair, but I have heard this game is quite faithful to that series, even having the same intro as a TV show. One thing I would say, this one is a little bit simplified. It's kind of your classic arcade TMNT games, but it's not got too much depth. But for £3.50, can't really go wrong.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Next game we picked up from CX was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2007 on both the PlayStation 2 and the Nintendo DS. This is actually based on the TMNT movie, which I picked up in my last game hunting episode when I was in Wales. So I haven't watched that movie yet, but I have dived into these games a little bit. They're from the people who made Prince of Persia, so as you can guess, the platforming sections are pretty solid. One thing I would say, on the DS, some of the platforming sections are a little bit sticky, and I would say these are slightly different games. They both seem to have different starting levels, so we're interested to see how many other differences there is between the two games. This was also released on other consoles, but it's a nice cheap one to pick up. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan is one of the slightly more expensive games on this list. As you can see, this one was £12 in my local CX. The PlayStation 4 version is about 30 quid. It was also released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, but I thought I'd go for the Xbox One version, kind of being the most definitive version. There are so many things I love about this game, such as the character design, the bosses, the general feel, the humour. I do kind of feel it's let down by, it's very, very samey. Like, you kind of are in a large open area and you just have to keep doing very similar missions, like defeating a certain number of enemies, rolling a bomb to a certain area, just basically doing a lot of busy work so you can carry on to the bosses or the next area. It just feels like it could have been streamlined a lot better. Don't get me wrong, the boss battles are absolutely fantastic. The art style's cool, the humour's cool. It just feels like it's a little bit shallow, and it's a shame this is only multiplayer online. There's no local co-op for this game, which I think in a Turtles game is a little bit of a crime.
Sorry, Earthlings, but all your base are belong to us.
Knock it off, Mike.
Sheesh. One little interdimensional invasion and everyone loses their sense of humor.
Now we've come to some of the Tmnt games I have in my personal collection already. So you saw I picked this game up in CX, but that cover was reprinted, so I was glad I already had a copy of this on the 3DS. So this is based on the movie that came out of the same name. Yes, it may not be the greatest movie of all time. People may hate it. I actually don't mind it. I think it's alright. And this is a pretty good game. Basically, it's a cross between Turtles and Diablo. It is pretty cool. You kind of go around. It's like a dungeon crawler. You get like pickups, loot, stuff like that. You can switch between the 4 turtles on the fly using the D-pad. It's a pretty cool game. Like, it's really good for the 3DS. You can just do a little bit. Like, short, sharp bursts is where this game really shines. One big problem I have with this game, though, is no multiplayer. It would have made this game a million times better, and it's just not there, which again is a real shame. But this one's still super cheap in CX, so pick it up cheap while you can. Here we have the answer to the question that no one asked. What would happen if you combine Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Smash Bros? Simple answer, you would have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up. This is essentially a Smash Bros style 4-player multiplayer game. It also has a campaign, but where this game shines is in its multiplayer. You can get together with 3 other friends, pick from all your favourite characters, and literally beat the shell out of each other. It is such a good multiplayer game. This is such a cheap game as well. This is only about £3 in CX. It's also released on the PlayStation 2, but that version is a little bit more expensive. But yeah, this I think is best on the Wii. You can just grab a couple of remotes, a couple of mates, and then I said, beat the shell out of each other. Unfortunately, this is probably my least favourite game on the list. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Danger of the Ooze. Once again, based on the Nickelodeon cartoon. So this was released on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 and the 3DS. I've only played this version of the game and it just didn't grab me. Like, the level design is very like side-scrolly kind of platform sections, like a very weak Metroid style game. I use that term very loosely. Some of the bosses look pretty cool, but this game just didn't grab me that much. Like, I found the combat was a little bit slow, the jumping was a little bit sluggish, and yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know, maybe this game improves the more you play, but then again, it's a cheap one on CX, so maybe pick it up, try it for yourself, who knows, you might like it. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus games are probably my favourite of the modern, and I use that term loosely, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. This trilogy started in 2005 on the Xbox and also the GameCube, and these are absolutely fantastic games. And the best thing about these games, you can play with 4 players. That is what these Turtles games should be all about, is the co-op. The couch co-op, just kicking back with 3 mates and playing through this absolutely incredible mix of 2D and 3D, side-scrolling, explorative, beating-up action. There is a couple of problems with this game though, and it's not with the game itself. These games, the Battle Nexus games, are getting more and more expensive. I managed to pick this up from a local game store for about £15. You can pick this one up from CX for about £12. But the problem is, it's very rare this is in stock, and the first and especially the third game are getting more and more expensive, and I don't think I've ever seen the third game in stock. on CX. And that is before we even talk about the GameCube games, because they are even more expensive. I'm hoping with the kind of popularity of Shredder's Revenge and the upcoming Cowabunga Collection, maybe soon we'll see a Battle Nexus collection. There we have it then, folks. This is just a selection of some of the many TMNT games that is out there to play. I know there is loads I've missed, especially all of the games that are coming up on the Cowabunga Collection. I think those games are going to get more and more expensive to pick up physically. Some of them are already very expensive games, and I think that is just going to drive the price of them up. But it is great that we're going to have the Cowabunga Collection so people can play those games again or even experience them for the first time. And I, for one, cannot wait for people to experience the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game back on the NES and know the meaning of pain. If you have played this game, you know the water level, you know what I'm talking about, and you know the anger. Let me know in the comments down below any of these games you'll be checking out as we wait for the Cowabunga Collection to come out. I'll still probably be going back to Shredder's Revenge as an absolutely classic game, but do let me know if I've missed out any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games that are not going to be on the Cowabunga Collection. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.